Okay, thank you, Clinton.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so I wanted to call the meeting of the Accessibility Subcommittee of the Transit Advisory Committee to order. I believe it's about 5:10. Um, my name is Roseanne Ashby. I am one of the two new subcommittee members, and I'm glad to be here. And the other new member, Kent, do you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Roseanne. Yes, I'm Kent Kieser, longtime resident of Arlington, and a longtime user of Star.
So I'd like to first start with introductions. Can we have the county staff who is here introduce themselves and maybe say your title as well as your name?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and start since I'm on camera. Good evening, everyone. Clinton Edwards. I serve the Arlington County Transit Bureau as the Transit Services Manager. I'll pass it over to Pierre. Oh, lost Pierre. I'll pass it over to Rocco.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone. It's Rocco Visconti. I'm an associate planner for Arlington County Department of Environmental Services, Arlington Transit and Star. And I will pass it over to Lynn. Is she on? Oh, well, I think that is. Do we want to pass it over to Sabrina?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
From the call center.
Hello, my name is Sabrina Brown, and I'm the operations manager here at the Arlington Star Call Center.
Welcome, Sabrina. I'm so glad you could join us.
Thank you.
I understand we have someone from Red Top on the call.
Yeah, my name is Brian Shaw. I'm the accounts manager for Arlington Red Top.
Very good. Welcome. And do we have anyone from Diamond?
Yes, this is Ashley. I am the general manager at Diamond Transportation.
Wonderful, Ashley. What is your last name?
Fernandez.
Fernandez? Okay, with an
Yes,
F,
ma'am.
right? Okay.
With
Okay.
an F as in Frank, yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad we have our providers here tonight. This is terrific. And you all, I hope you know that you're welcome to join any of these meetings, any of these subcommittee meetings. So, okay, so I hear there are a number of other individuals on the line. I don't know if we want to do introductions. I imagine folks are members of the public. And we do want to do public comment. Shall we do introductions very quickly, though?
Oh, we have one more county staff person.
Oh, I'm
Pierre
sorry.
Holloman. He's back joined with us.
Okay.
Yes, good evening, Pierre Holloman, Assistant Transit Chief.
Wonderful. Welcome. Okay, so how about members of the public? Do you want to introduce yourselves just very quickly, and then we'll proceed to public comment after we have all the introductions.
Hello, this is Robbie Worth. I'm also with Diamond.
Okay, Robbie, wonderful, wonderful.
And that's all the persons that we have on the line today.
Okay. I was hearing a lot of people entering, and I was thinking we had more public. So I guess there is no public comment then, which is unusual, certainly. Okay. Anyway, hold on. I got a message from somebody. Let me see if it's anything.
Tuesday, May 14th, 5:15 p.m. Messages. Now, Joe DePhillips. Please admit me to the meeting.
Oh, Joe DePhillips is asking to be admitted to the meeting. And he may be on the phone. I don't know if you see him.
I do not see Mr. DePhillips as someone that is in the waiting room.
Okay, I don't know what's happening here.
5:16 p.m. Conversations. Pick dot messages. One unread message.
Let him know.
Ted Kaiser. Joe DePhillips. Unread. Please. Message. Sent with apps. Message. iMessage. Text field. Dictate. Double.
Clinton does not see you in the waiting room. Period.
Message. Text. Send. Button.
Okay. I sent him a message. Kent, we didn't lose you, did we? I thought I,
We did lose. He was here and then he dropped off.
I know, and I wonder if we're having problems with Teams.
Yeah, this is Robbie. I tried a number of times getting in on Teams and was unsuccessful. So that's why I dialed in to a number that Ashley provided, but the number that was on the invite didn't work. So Ashley Fernandez provided me with a number.
I see. Okay. Now I'm hearing that somebody's entered the lobby, so I don't know who that is.
Mr. Kaiser has returned.
Good. Okay. Okay.
Do you have a number for Mr. DePhillips that I can call and add him to?
703. Yeah, 703.
Oh, I'm sorry, give me one moment. 703
Sure. 969
969
2724.
All right, I'm calling Mr. DePhillips now.
Okay.
Hello.
Joe, we're at the STAR meeting. We're having problems with Teams tonight, I think.
I got in, Roseanne.
Oh, you're in. Good. Okay.
Thank you.
We had some problems for folks getting in though. So we actually have not started except to
Okay.
introduce everybody. And we do have, in addition to the county staff, we have Ashley Fernandez and Robbie Worth from Diamond, and we have Mark.
Great.
Brian from, what was your last name, Brian? I apologize. Brian from Red Top. Shaw. And we also have Sabrina Brown.
Terrific.
So, okay. Anyway, let's get started. Are there any members of the public, Joe, and I guess you're the only one who would like to make any comments?
Okay, I feel overwhelmed, but I guess I'll pass at this time.
Okay, all right, very
nice
good.
to hear from everyone.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting notes from March the 12th. And
Miss Ashby, if I may for one moment,
sure.
It says approval, but since we have not, and I'll have to look to Pierre as far as actually getting a chair appointed. So we can't take any formal action as of night, but we can actually review those meeting notes for March 12th and take them as information items.
Okay.
Roseanne, I have a point of order.
Yes.
We can elect a chair, correct?
We only have 2 members, so.
Right. So I open nominations for chair, and I nominate Roseanne Ashby to be chairwoman of the subcommittee.
And I second that.
I'm in favor. Do I get
I
a
don't
vote?
I don't think the public gets a vote, but
would you like to call for a vote, Roseanne?
Yes, let's call for a vote on the chair, please.
I vote yes.
And I vote yes as well.
Yay.
I think we have a chair.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So
let me ask Pierre for just a point of clarification. Does the TAC need to take any action on this, or just at the accessibility subcommittee level?
The TAC doesn't need to take any action on this.
All right.
okay, very good. And just for the in the interest of transparency, I did apply to be on the TAC, and I understand my application will be considered over the next couple of weeks. So I do intend to participate this evening, listening to what's happening there. And I think it's important for someone from this subcommittee to be on the TAC. So let's go back now to the agenda, which is the approval of the meeting notes from March the 12th. Both Kent and I did attend that meeting, although we were not members of the committee at that time. Kent, do you have any comments you would like to share on the meeting notes?
I did have one question for Mr. Edwards. I had asked about the connection between the survey that was conducted and the idea that the various service areas of STAR were affected by the survey outcomes, when in fact none of the survey areas had been mentioned in the survey. So you were going to get back to us, Mr. Edwards, and if you had a chance to look into that yet.
Absolutely, and I've made contact with our Cape Public Engagement team, and I will read you what they provided me after that meeting. For the my initial question was, there were several questions about how we developed the second feedback question, and of course I informed the committee at the March meeting that the questions were developed from the feedback we received in the fall. And then, of course, there were questions from the public, not the public and the committee, on the zones, and that the committee was surprised to see that question. And then talking about our methodology. And so the way those questions in public engagement number 2 were developed was that the zone questions arose out of the feedback that the people shared about reliability and scheduling from our operations data, because we wanted a more complete picture of service feedback and values. And of course that was going to help to inform the RFP process. So it's slightly different than some of those other questions that were in feedback too, but it's still connected based on the feedback so that we can improve the operation from the first feedback. So that was the feedback that I received as how we came up and developed those questions. So she helped jog my memory.
And have we made all of that feedback public yet?
Yes, the second engagement is posted on the Arlington Transit website in the STAR section. I can actually pull it up. If you give
I think you're saying the open-ended questions, that's what you base the zones on, the zone question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all the public feedback is posted on the web somewhere?
We didn't post the specific open-ended public feedback because some of the answers would have identified the individual based on their answer. So we did not give an exact rundown of all of the public feedback to protect folks' identity.
Well, can you redact the personal information and put their comments on the web? Because I think people need to know how these decisions are.
Is that something that you all can handle very quickly? I mean, it does seem to me that one of the things I would like to see with this committee is that we become very transparent to the members of the committee, but also to the public. And it's very important that the public feel that, their comments are considered. So I think that Kent is making a reasonable request, and I would, second that request.
So the request is a redaction of, can all of the open-ended comments with a redaction for those that would identify someone personally, can those be provided?
Yes, we don't want to obviously, fly in the face of confidentiality or whatever. But yeah, I think what we want is to know that a particular commenter had a particular viewpoint or concern.
Okay. Let me do this. I will check with our CAPES team to see the possibility of that and get back with the two of you all tomorrow. How about that?
Okay, that would be very good. We appreciate that.
And let me just notate this.
So, Clinton, do you have what you need, or can we move on? Or
Yes, ma'am. I know
okay,
we're still
very
here
very
on
good.
the,
Okay,
yes.
I just want to make sure. Okay, so in terms of the meeting notes, my only comment is I would like more detail. Now, I don't know who on the staff is responsible for taking the notes, or whether you all use the recording and then somebody listens to it, but having a little more detail would be helpful, because the notes were very, very general. They weren't, I don't think they were inaccurate, but they were so general that there was not really any detail there. So maybe, I mean, would it be, I would like to know, like, how is this handled? Who does the notes and who writes them up?
So staff actually, what staff does is that he listens during the meeting, he
Mhm,
takes the notes during the meeting, and then goes back through the recording to make sure that something is
mhm.
not missed, that is properly captured.
Right, and is that
So,
you, Clinton, or is that someone else on
that's
staff?
someone else.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Who is
Yeah,
that? Mr. Edwards, who is that?
Hello.
That's
Yes,
Mr.
I'm the one that usually writes the notes for the subcommittee, Rocco Visconti. And I think that more detail could definitely be included in the notes. That's something I could do going forward.
okay.
Yes,
Well,
I use the transcript and the recording after the meeting is done. I listen to the whole thing and write up an overview of what happened in the meeting.
yeah.
But if you're saying there needs to be more detail going forward, that's definitely
Mhm.
something I can provide.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly don't need a transcript, that's not what we're
Hmm.
asking for, but, I mean, decision points or major issues that are brought up, if there are questions or comments from the public, I'd like to see
Yeah.
them reflected in the notes. Um, and of course, obviously, any decisions that are made. And, just in terms of my own preference, and I think Kent would agree with me, I would like to receive the notes further in advance. I got
Okay.
these notes today, and, I'd like more of an opportunity to study them, so I don't know what would be a reasonable time frame. Could we have them a week ahead of time?
Yeah, I think at least a week ahead of time could be reasonable. Yes.
Okay. Kent, does that work for you?
That would work. Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay, all right. So
The,
let's
the
do
only
that. Oh, go
And
ahead.
so
I'm
what
sorry.
I'll add to that is that the immediate past committee, our practice for the year was that they would receive the draft agenda, and then they would actually receive the meeting notes on the day of, and then review them and go through them during the meeting. But what I'm hearing from this committee is that you would like those meeting notes a week in advance.
Yes, because it's too, people have other things going on in their lives. And so expecting somebody to, drop everything and look at some notes the day of may not be realistic. So,
Okay.
Ken, you wanted to ask something else?
Sure, I was going to say the only thing is if there is a particular subject that is timely, we might specify in the meeting that we get them sooner and have them posted sooner so that the public could see them, even though they're not approved. I think it might be helpful.
So, that brings up a good point. I think the meeting notes are generally posted once they're approved. Is there
Yes.
anything, any prohibition from marking them as draft and posting them in draft until we vote on them? Is there a problem with this that I'm not aware of?
There is not a problem with that. This is just based on past practice of how the previous committee was comfortable receiving those meeting notes.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
when we send out the agenda and post the agenda, we can post we'll have to work out the logistics, but if we get the meeting notes to you all as a subcommittee we would have to work on our timing. And this is kind of part of our accessibility subcommittee work session that we're going to get to in the next agenda item. Do you all as a committee, would you all like the notes before they go out to the public or at the same time? Because the challenge previously was that the subcommittee wanted to see the notes in the agenda before they were posted. They were sent out to all STAR users and they were posted to the website.
I personally, and Kent, I welcome your feedback here. I would like to see them before they're posted. However, I like transparency. And so once Kent and I, or whoever else is on this committee, once we see them, I'd like to see them posted in draft. Now, I'm talking about the notes right now. And I realize we're going into the next item on the agenda, which is fine. I also want to see the agenda. I know, Clinton, you and I started working on the agenda. I think it's been at least like 10 days ago, not 100% sure. And it didn't go out to the public until yesterday. So this is not the way I'd like to see us operate, because when the public has comments, they need to see the agenda. Well, what is it that they're going to be looking at? What do they need to comment on? And if they don't know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't facilitate that kind of communication with our constituents.
So one thing that I'll ask from the subcommittee is kind of for you all to come up with a schedule to provide to staff that you would like to see. You would like to see the agenda and the minutes by this amount of time. You would like it posted on the website and the minutes and the agenda posted on the website by this amount of time so that we can hit those calendar milestones, so that we're not thinking that the process that we previously did is going to work well for the new committee.
Right. No, that's very reasonable. That's a very reasonable request. Kent, did you want to take this offline so you and I can put our heads together and we can get back to Clinton?
Sure. But I think, yes.
So I think think in agreement, what we've come up with is that we would like it to be posted available to the public, the draft or the agenda and the draft minutes a week in advance.
I think that's very doable.
Okay,
personally.
So then we'll just have to work backwards from there as to when we need to start getting suggested topics from you all, and when you all would like to see it, and the amount of time you need to come up with the amount of time you all need to go back and forth and add or make any adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, for me, and I'm just speaking on the top of my head, Kent and I need to put our heads together here, but maybe 2 weeks in advance, we would send you our items for the agenda. Now, you may also have items that you would like to have put on there that we are not aware of,
Absolutely.
So we have to work together to create the agenda, but I think it's reasonable for us to do that 2 weeks in advance. And then, as you say, finalize the agenda, get that out a week in advance, and get out the draft notes a week in advance.
Okay.
And again, this should be posted. I also think that at least for the time being, if we can put that agenda out to the STAR users, it might make sense, just like Ms. Hill did this time, but just more earlier,
Yeah. So when I'm talking about, when I'm mentioning getting the agenda and draft minutes out, that would go to all STAR users and also be posted to the website 1 week in advance. So it would be public facing 1 week in advance.
Good, because not everybody's on that STAR users list. So again, the transparency is what we want here.
Absolutely, and we will absolutely meet those milestones. I think we've come up with another thing that you all getting the information 2 weeks in advance would give you and Mr. Keyser, right now, just the two of you all, it would give you all the 1 week to review them before we release it to the general public.
Mhm. Kent, does that make sense to you so far?
Yes, it does.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. This is very, very good.
Absolutely.
If we can talk some more about the subcommittee, one of my concerns is that, of course, we've lost 3 members that were on the committee for a while. It's
Miss
just tentative.
Ashby,
Yes.
do you want to go and approve the meeting minutes as is before we actually
Oh.
move on to this next item?
I guess we could do that. Kent, what do you think? Do you want to approve
Well,
these?
I'd like to table them until we get the other information that we had requested, Roseanne, and then
Okay.
maybe address them at the next meeting.
Okay,
But
that's
they can,
fair.
in the interim, they could be posted as draft.
That's true. We could post them as draft. I agree with Kent. That makes so much sense. Okay?
So post these as draft.
Yes. And then once you get back to us on what you can share in terms of the item that Kent mentioned about the how were these the public comment, that we got during the what was that engagement session back in February or whatever,
Yes, can those comments be published and personal information be redacted?
Right, exactly. Okay. And that would
Yep,
become part of the agenda. I mean, part of the notes, excuse me, part of the meeting notes.
Follow up on 5/15/24. All right, so we're going to
Fine.
post these as draft meeting minutes. So
Yes.
as we get into the next thing, just to kind of give an overview of the charge of the Transit Accessibility Subcommittee, the subcommittee, of course, reviews accessibility issues, including to vehicles, bus stops, stations, and specialized transportation services and fixed route transportation services for Metro Rail, Metrobus, ART, Star, and Metro Access. One thing that you all will see as we progress with the meetings and have meetings every 2 months is that we'll suggest certain topics that are things we want to bring to you all's attention as the accessibility subcommittee. Ms. Ashby, I know that we had talked about a couple of weeks ago about the announcements, onboard announcements. We have floating bus stop guidelines that were a thing. So different transit things, not necessarily focusing just on paratransit, but transit as a whole in Arlington County. We will bring things and different presentations to you all to bring it to your attention, to get you all to weigh in on it so that we can have the accessibility lens looking at it.
No, absolutely. That's very important.
So I just wanted to kind of level set thus as we build this new committee and move forward in 2024.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So the next item is to look at the, subcommittee itself in terms of its membership, goals, and vision. So in terms of membership, this is where I was starting to discuss. With just the 2 of us, that's not sufficient. This subcommittee should represent a cross section of Arlingtonians with disabilities.
Absolutely.
It should be multicultural. It should be representing, different disability groups. So we need to solicit some additional members. I'd love to see at least 5 members. But that's just me. I don't think there's any membership quota written down anywhere. But so how can we solicit members? Can we send out a note to the STAR users requesting their interest in becoming a member? I understand that all members need to be approved by the Transit Advisory Committee chairperson. But I'm wondering if that would be one way to do it. There might be other ideas that county staff have as to how to solicit, for new members.
Pierre, is there any, and ask this question to Pierre. Is there anything that would disallow us for soliciting the active STAR users for membership on this accessibility subcommittee?
No, there's nothing that would disallow such. It can advertise anywhere, everywhere to recruit members to the committee. Subcommittee. Just want to also note that the subcommittee max membership is 7.
Oh, it's 7. Okay, thank you for that clarification. So can I ask this? Is there a way that the county itself can put out a notice, not just to STAR users, but is there a different mechanism that you guys have to solicit membership on committees and subcommittees? Is there anything else we could do?
Perhaps through your social media.
Now, I'm personally not aware of any type of county recruitment for boards and commissions. Pierre, are you aware of any county-led efforts in that regard?
Typically for committees or subcommittees, the county has not done recruitment efforts. However, that's something that we could look into.
Could you do that and let us know? And I would really like to know that fairly soon, because I feel this is urgent, that we get some more members on here. And Kent and I will certainly reach out to people we know, but go ahead, Kent, I'm sorry.
I was going to say I could contact the Independence Center of Northern Virginia.
Right, that's an obvious one.
To distribute a call for interest.
Right. And so yeah, so I think we really need to put on a full court press to get some more members on here. And I do understand that in July there is no meeting, that we are doing a tour of a transit facility. So I guess we're really talking September, but I'd like to get people on board. So, okay, so when we talk about goals and vision for the subcommittee, I know that's part of this item. I mean, I've already shared one of my goals is transparency and also expanding the scope so that we discuss, and I guess it's not expanding it because it's already there, to deal with public transit and paratransit and concerns of people with disabilities in Arlington. So I obviously STAR takes up a lot of our time, but it should not be our sole focus either. So I don't know if Kent, do you have any thoughts that you just want to share? I think as we work together and get our new members, we might expand on goals and vision. But that's
well, one of the things that I'm always concerned about with STAR and the other programs is, are we reaching every corner of Arlington County to make them, one, aware of the public transit and paratransit services we have to offer, and make them a part of it. When I first sustained my spinal cord injury, the only way that I learned of the STAR program was one of the red top drivers asked me if I was aware of it. And I said no, and he explained the program to me. And I had been taking red top when I couldn't take the metro system, the metro rail. So that's the only way I learned about it. So I think, some public campaign once a year couldn't hurt to the disability community at large. Those, we have a lot of neighborhood associations, and certainly we can do communication efforts through there. I think that when things come along about program changes, that those are a good a way to let people know what's being proposed. And that public engagement has not occurred in the past.
No.
And I think we certainly can expand it through that association. I mean, there may be 20 neighborhood associations in the county, so that's a good way to communicate with people. I know my association in Fairlington is very open to public notice about agenda items and public happenings. So
I agree 100%. I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the time and I'm nervous because we got a little bit of a late start. So let's table this discussion till the next time. Maybe we can continue our discussion of goals and vision. I do like that idea though, Kent. I think we need to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the July 24 service and fare changes. So, Clinton, is that your item?
Yes, ma'am. Give me one moment. Can you see my screen?
Kent, can you see on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
All right. So, just to summarize, just a quick 3 goals. I have transparency, expand subcommittee, and inform folks of STAR program annually. Basically, promote the program exists for those. Okay, I have those 3 down. What we are discussing now are the July 2024 service and fare changes.
Right.
You are aware that during the month of March, we came to this committee to inform the committee of the proposed service changes that were going to be happening that were going to the county board and the county manager as part of a budget reduction exercise. That was going to be the full elimination of the 62 and the combination of the Route 53 and the 61. On the 4th Saturday of April, the board accepted those recommendations along with the fare changes that we'll talk to. So effective on July the 1st, we will be having the following service change. The Route 62 will be eliminated, and the Route 53 and the Route 61 will be combined to create the new Route 56.
Okay.
Just looking here on the screen, this will leave Rosalind Metro. On the left-hand side of this slide, you'll see the rights and lefts. This shows the leaving from the Madison Community Center in North Arlington all the way down to its southern terminus at Rosalind Metro Station. So on the left side of our screen, we have the turns that it will make from Madison Community Center all the way to the Rosalind and bus bays. And then westbound, the trip will come from Rosalind back to the Madison Community Center. The southern portion of the old 61 is the southern part of the Green Line. Bless you. Going down 14th Street to 12th to Rhodes. That's the old 61. Then you pick up at the Arlington Courthouse Metro, where you start picking back up with a portion of the old 62. And then going north, you pick up what previously was the 53, and then goes around here to the old Glebe and military area. The western part of the 53 has been eliminated as part of the budget reduction exercise that the board adopted for FY25.
Okay, now those are cuts in art.
Yes.
Yes, and I do recall that discussion back in March. So
yes.
Okay. What about fare changes?
Fare changes. I'll switch to the next slide. Coming to you all this evening as well with a fare change. This fare increase was also voted to be adopted by the county board. The base fare for ART and STAR will be increasing effective July the 1st, 2024. This is to stay commensurate with the WMATA increase and to make it the budget deficit. The board agreed to accept these recommendations at their April meeting. The new base fare for art will go from $2 to $2.25. And then for senior citizens and persons with disabilities, the fare will go from $1 to $1.15. The star fares also will be increasing the 12.5%. Zone 1 will go from $4 to $4.50. Zone 2 will go from $5.50 to $6.20. And Zone 3 trips will go from $9.50 to $10.70. It is worth noting that on the senior citizen art fair and the zone fares, the 12.5%, if you do the actual math, it's not exactly 12.5 cents. What we did is we rounded it up to the closest zero or nickel, just so you would have a whole amount. $1.15 is going to be a tricky denomination to come up with, but that was better than $1.13.
Yeah.
Clayton, can you please repeat the base fares for the star?
Yes, sir. Zone 1 will go from $4 to $4.50. Zone 2 will go from $5.50 to $6.20. And Zone 3 will go from $9.50 to $10.70.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Kent, do you have any comments on the fares at this moment?
Yes. First, I had a question about the presentation. Mr. Edwards, is there any way we can have a fully accessible presentation presented?
What elements would you be looking for to make it more accessible?
Well, I guess we can get with you about that.
Okay. We absolutely can accommodate that. Yes.
Actually, I think that needs to do that at large.
Yeah. I mean, one of the disadvantages I have is that I cannot read what's on the screen.
Miss Ashby, you're muted, I believe.
I am?
No, she's not.
Can you hear me now? Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so I'm sorry. What I was saying is, for me, I cannot read the screen. So I'm listening to you, but that is one thing. If I can get a presentation ahead of time, that's more, to me, that's more helpful, because then I can review it ahead of time. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's something we can talk about. But I don't know, Kent, if you had other things in mind, but that for me, this is not a fully accessible way to proceed the way we're doing it now.
Absolutely. And so that's why I'm always cognizant to, when we are doing presentations, that I verbalize everything that is on the screen.
And I do appreciate that.
Okay. But yes, we can definitely work on we can make the presentation accessible, and we'll get you all's feedback on how to make it more accessible as well.
Right.
Let me notate that as well.
Okay. And Ken, did you have other concerns about
yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I did. Mr. Clinton, you said this money increase was going to deficit.
Could you repeat that, please?
You said the increases were going to deficit spending.
No, there was a projected budget deficit going into the FY25 budget. And so each county department was asked to make reductions across all of their programs. And so there was a series of reductions that were made department wide. Some were taken and some were not. And these were measures that were taken so that we could decrease or eliminate the budget deficit.
Right. So the increase goes to deficit spending.
Yes.
Okay. And you know what the fiscal impact of this increase is for STAR?
The fiscal impact, I need to get the exact number, but the number that is on the top of my head would generate an additional $55,000. We have that entire presentation that was given to the board in the workshop. The number that I have off the top of my head is 55, but I need to find that budget.
I think 55,000 was when it was at a 25% increase. So I guess it's half of that.
It would be half, yeah, so 55, yeah, so it'd be half of that at 12 and a half.
Well, the only thing I would say, Madam Chairman, is that taking STAR, which I consider, and a lot of our fellow riders consider, a lifeline. It's not. It's a wonderful service when it works, and yet it has its drawbacks, which I want to address later. One in particular, but it seems to me that these increases only further drive people, especially people who work. It's getting really, really expensive and prohibitive. You're in zone 3 every day. So I just think that we need to look at a better way. I mean, considering it's not that much money. It's $27,000 that the county is putting on the backs of people who probably can least afford it. And I think that we should let the board know that that's the view that at least that I take. I'm certainly going to let my board members know about it. But it just, we should not just consider a rote increase of WMATA as a increase just to pass on without doing any economic impact of how it's going to affect the lives of people with disabilities throughout the county.
I think Kent raises an important issue because many people with disabilities are on fixed incomes, and certainly those zone 3 trips, that's getting pretty expensive, $10.70. That's almost $22 round trip. So that's significant for folks.
And it is also worth mentioning that Metro Access, their base fare did go up from $4 to $4.50, but they're capped at $4.50.
That is correct.
Metro Access
that is
trip.
correct.
So that's one thing we are informing persons as that comes up, but absolutely that's about $21.40 for a zone 3 trip. So
yeah. So I mean, I think these are important issues. I am aware that we are running out of time, so I don't know whether we have to do a hard stop at 6 p.m. I want to skip to the item about the RFP update for STAR because I'm very concerned about that since I believe the contract ends technically on May 31. So could I ask Clinton that you talk about the RFP update?
absolutely. I can't talk about the specifics of the RFP. However, what I can say is that Arlington County is absolutely committed to continuing the paratransit program. I have been in communication with both Brian and Ashley, and that the Diamond and Red Top contracts will be extended and amended until a new vendor is selected. So the contract does expire on May 31st. However, services will continue to be provided by STAR past that date.
Do you have an idea of how long the extension will be for?
Until the new vendor is selected and on board with a transition period.
Right. But we don't know like when the contract will be out on the street. We don't have any information that you can share.
No, I'm not able to share any information as far as the new contract is concerned until it's available for the public. But what I can share is that services will continue through Red Top and Diamond in the immediate future, past May 31st.
Kent, do you have questions about this item?
Yes. And so when is it going to go to the public? Do you know that, Mr. Edwards?
The only thing that I can say on that is that once it is out on the public, I can inform you, but our purchasing department will release it and make it known to the public. So I do not know I don't have the date of when it will be released. And to second that, since I mean, in full transparency, we have a couple of the providers on the line right now, so
I
any conversation
understand.
on it would give them
Yeah.
an advantage over anyone
I,
else that
I,
wanted to, that wouldn't have this information before
right. And
in advance.
I understand that. I understand that. You know, um, we want to be absolutely fair to everyone, but I think, the concern is, well, how much longer are we going to operate this way? And, when might
Absolutely.
we, expect to have a contract to look at? But okay. I don't know
Yes.
what else I can ask about this. Kent, what about you? Anything on this?
I think we're good. Well, we're
Okay.
not good, but obviously
We
we would like to know more about it.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Again, I don't know whether it is 6:02. We can
I'm
table.
fine, Roseanne.
I mean, I am too, but I don't know about staff.
Well, staff, we also have the TAC meeting at 7 o'clock, so some of
I
us have to
know.
prepare for
Yeah,
that one as well.
yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I'm hopeful in the future we'll be able to start in a more timely way. Um, I don't know whether there was an item on the Art and Star performance metrics. Is there something that we can review? Is there material that we could look at on that? On
Absolutely.
those
I
metrics?
will, as soon as we finish, I will send you these 3 slides. The last slide has the Art and Star metric on it, if I could actually advance it. Yes, so this has it. So the previous slide was the new Route 56. The second one was the fare increase, and the third one covers the star performance metrics.
Okay. Okay. I think we'd like to study these. I know Kent is a real good data guy, and I would
Okay.
like to study this too. So, maybe we can have a fuller discussion of this the next time. Unfortunately, like I say, we are not going to be meeting till September, as I understand it. Um, I don't know if there's any way we can do some business in between the meetings, though.
I
It just
believe that
seems
would be
like
very beneficial, so that when we get to September and school's back in, we can hit the ground running
yeah,
as
I mean,
far as,
that's how I
yes,
feel too, Clinton, because it's a 4-month hiatus and I don't like that, really. So,
absolutely.
yeah. Um, if I can just bring up one very brief thing, there was a concern raised by a member of the public about the interim trips for parents uh, who use STAR, um, picking their child up from a school event.
Hmm.
And there was not I don't know, if the policy, I believe, is an unwritten policy. And we certainly don't want to do anything to weaken somebody's, right to this service. In other words, I don't want to take anything away from anybody, but I think the clarification on the policy, I assume we have a number of unwritten policies at this point. And
Are you talking about interim star trips or?
yeah, it's an interim trip, pardon me, for a disabled parent to pick their child up from a school activity. And someone was denied this
Yes,
interim trip. But it's based, I believe, on an unwritten policy. I'm not aware that this policy is written down. So I.
so we have
Maybe
the
Miss
interim star is in the rider guide,
It
as
is.
both of my screens are, one has the subcommittee meeting and the other one has the presentation. I can't look at it right now,
I
but
understand.
we have parameters around the interim star. I know it's,
Mhm.
Sabrina, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's 30 days, but it's only good for a 30-day period.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
About interim star. How isn't it only good for 30 days?
A star trip for a
Okay,
parent
so
with a disability.
there's two interims. We have the interim star science that's good for 30 days. Then we have the interim where we parent will drop their child off at school and then continue on home. But I believe if it's the one that I'm thinking you're talking about, Miss Ashby, it was a Saturday. It didn't have. I think she was dropping her child off. You don't consider that to be school related, so
because it was a Saturday. Because it was a Saturday. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
Even if it's during the week, if it's not to a school or to a daycare, then we won't do an interim.
Okay. You know, it's challenging because these things are not written. I don't think they're written. And quite honestly, I don't even have the latest Star Rider guide at this point. I'm assuming it's posted somewhere, but I don't have it. So,
and that'll be one thing we're going to come to the committee in the near future. Well, I guess in September is updating the Star Rider guide to get the committee's feedback on the policy changes that we have in the Star Rider guide and the edits and modifications.
Okay. Well, maybe a good start to that would be to make sure that Kent and I have the correct version of the guide, because I don't have it. I don't know if Kent, if you do, but I don't have what is currently, what are you operating under at this moment? I don't have that information.
Yes, and that's available on the Star website, the Rider guide, to be downloaded in English and Spanish.
Okay.
But
all right, then
that is undergoing an update currently.
Okay. Well, this committee definitely needs to be involved in any discussions of updates for sure. Kent, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not sure what we're hearing. Mr. Edwards, can you clarify what you said? There are going to be changes to the Star Riders guide?
Not changes, just going to be updated to reflect our operating environment. Like Ms. Ashby just said, the unwritten policy. So it hasn't been updated since September 2020. So it's due for a refresh.
Okay. Well, I also, Roseanne, if I could, in keeping the conversation open about the interim trips, I sent you, Mr. Edwards and Roseanne, I don't know if you had a chance to see it, just before the meeting, a September 14th Dear Colleague letter. It's an advisory letter from the Department of Transportation, U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Transit Administration Administrator. Do you get those routinely, Mr. Edwards?
Yes, I've received those.
So did you get this one last September 14th, 2023?
Yes. However, it is the county's current position is that we do not accept federal funds for transit operations. All of those federal dollars are sent directly to the WMATA for their operations.
Okay, I don't understand.
Yes, the federal funds that are in that program, like 5307, the formula funds, all of those are sent to WMATA as a part of the WMATA compact. So the county doesn't actually receive federal funds for operating.
Really?
Yes.
So none in Virginia, none in Maryland?
That is a Northern Virginia practice to not receive federal funds. Agencies south of Northern Virginia are direct recipients of federal funding.
But you said it was part of the compact we have with WMATA?
Yes.
Interesting.
That's very interesting. That's something we need to get to the bottom of, because that makes entirely no sense to me at all, especially with the plethora of funding that's as an avalanche right now. Funding that we could use for interim service for people who need it. I don't understand that at all. Is the county board aware of that?
As far as I am aware, they are aware of that, because all of the As long as I've been in this region, that has been the practice for the Northern Virginia agencies to send their federal funding allocations directly to WMATA.
Very interesting.
So we send 76 million plus all the federal money. Okay. All right. I think we need to learn more about this, Mr. Edwards. So maybe we could have a presentation about that at a future meeting.
All right. Well, we've opened up a lot of points for discussion. I appreciate that everybody stuck around. Thank you to the county staff. Let's try to get some business done this summer because we really need to build up this subcommittee, and I appreciate everybody's time. And Kent, do I have a motion to adjourn? Or do you have
I would move that we adjourn to the call of the chair so that we could meet again before the next meeting.
Okay, I second that.
You want to call for a vote?
I'd like to call for a vote. It's just the two of us.
You've got a big yes here.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. All right, thank you, Clinton. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the providers as well.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. I'm going to stop the recording.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you done?
Okay.